Sunday, September 10th, and today's vlog is going to be about sneakers. It was the other day, probably like 2 or 3 days ago, I put up a stories post on my Instagram page, and it was about some shoes I just picked up recently, and I got a couple DMs, and one of them actually sparked this idea to do this vlog because it was, I guess, someone who follows me, and they asked, what do I know about sneakers? So I actually told them I'm going to make this video because I know, a good amount about sneakers. I've been collecting and reselling sneakers back when I was in high school. So that was, I'm going to say early 2000s, probably, 2000 or 2001 is when I really got into it. And actually my first pair of sneakers that got me into collecting and reselling was a pair of Nike Dunk. Not these exact pair right here. I actually probably don't have them anymore because I probably ended up reselling them. But it was back, during the Hypebeast, the crazy Hypebeast days. And I'll say, like that's really what got me into it. It was like the hype around the sneakers, not ashamed to admit it. And back then, reselling sneakers was just so that I could afford, a second pair of sneakers. So I'd buy 2 or 3 pairs, keep one for myself, resell the others so that I'd have extra money to buy the next release that came out. Back then I was working like 2 or 3 jobs part-time, so literally all the money that I had coming in was either going towards sneakers or to my car. So I'm just, I love sneakers just as much as I love cars. Been doing both for just about the same amount of time. And yeah, I guess to get into it, started reselling sneakers on eBay back in 2000, and that was really during the Dunk craze. And I still have a few that came out around that era. These are a pair of Hunter Reese Forbes Dunk SBs. These came out in 2004. So actually, with Nikes, they have the production date, and back then the first 2 numbers were the year that they came out. And these were also ways that you could tell if sneakers were real or not. A lot of the information came from the tags. Back then, fakes weren't as good as they are today. And actually, like today, I don't even buy sneakers on eBay anymore because the fakes are like way too good. And I've actually like got ripped off a few times. When like the Yeezy phase started happening, I bought like, a pair of Jordans, a couple pairs of Jordans, and they're actually like, I think, it was like a pair of these Bred ones. I couldn't get them when they came out, so buying sneakers today, the whole landscape has changed. Before, you used to have to wait in line. Then after you waited in line, they changed it that you had to sign up for raffles. So literally, we used to camp out. There were sneakers that we camped out for days for, like literally a couple days. And actually I forgot to take those out. They're which sneakers did I do days for? The Supreme Dunk Highs, the Stars, those came out in orange, blue, and red. We camped out a couple days for those. The Nike Artist Pack, those were like the Pharrells, Eminem, Halle Berry. They had collaborative sneakers. We camped out a couple days for those at Nike Town, or maybe that was just overnight. I don't remember, but definitely you used to have to literally camp out and wait in line, and that's where the term camping out for sneakers came from. Literally, we would stay days, if not, hours, nights in the streets of New York, sometimes in New Jersey, waiting for sneakers. But it was literally a pair of these black and red ones that I tried to buy on eBay because I couldn't buy them when they came out recently on like the Nike app or the sneakers app. So I ended up having to buy them from a reseller. I tried buying them on eBay, ended up getting ripped off. Thanks to PayPal, I was able to get my money back. But now, yeah, it's a lot different buying sneakers now than it used to be back in the day. So, needless to say, black and red ones, these are like in my top 3. I've had pretty much every single re-release that's come out. I wear them, and then pretty much once they get beat down. That's my dog outside that you hear barking. Yeah, once I wear them out, and then typically once I wear them out, I sell them on eBay. You know, get a couple. Sometimes you even get the money back that you paid for them, and then I buy the latest release that came out. I've yet to wear these yet. So here's another pair of Dunks that I held on to. These are your ray guns. These came out in white and black. I still have the black ones. Again, these came out in 2004. And talking about Nike Dunks SBs, these are actually my holy grail. These are my favorite shoe, always will be. They used to be the most valuable Dunk back in the day, or even the sneaker. It used to be the most valuable sneaker overall. But now that the Yeezy phase happened, Adidas is gaining a lot more popularity. It's crazy. The price for these is like nothing of what like other Adidas and like the Yeezy Nikes are going for. These are the original Nike Supreme Dunks. These are originally released in, let's see, 2002. And I remember when Supreme did the re-release for these, we went to wait in line, and back then it was like we were just getting into it. Like I said, 2002. I actually started reselling with a good friend of mine, Rich, and we actually have an eBay account together. We actually started that eBay account back in 2001. Back then, we would just team up, you know, every weekend, if not every other weekend, there would be a new release that we were always teaming up, finding out when and where they were going to come out. We'd go together and then just, you know, resell the shoes. And like I said, back then we were literally just buying the shoes so that we could afford to get the next pair without spending our money. It was spending money that we made from reselling sneakers. So these were released back in 2002, never worn them, dead stock. Check out how crispy white they are. You know, like, these are still my favorite shoes to date. It's got that classic, you know, Jordan 3 cement, black cement colorway to them. These, you know, up until the Dunk phase started dying down, you know, these were the shoes to have. And back then they would resell for upwards of like 1,500 bucks. I actually got these on eBay. Back when Supreme did a re-release, and I remember when we went, we were still getting new to it, so we went to Supreme like at 7 a.m. and by then is when like we realized, like, man, we got to start coming out a lot more earlier, because the line was already down the block. It was past Stackhouse. Stackhouse was on the block back then. So needless to say, we didn't get a pair back then, but I eventually ended up finding them for a good deal, a lot less than, you know, $1,000 on eBay. So these were and still are one of my favorite shoes in my top 3, along with the black and red ones. And these are the white version. Again, I got these on eBay. These came out at the same time. They came out as a pair. Unfortunately, I can't find the second pair. I don't know what happened to them, but I still keep these. I keep a bunch of like random, you know, like, they don't look the best, but these are just like random original shoes that, you know, I just keep in my house just to display. I got a lot of random things that I hold on to. And these, for example, are original Nike AirTech 2 challenges. The Agassiz, these came out, man, they don't even say what year these came out. If you guys could see like the size tag and everything, these are originals. They literally, they're crumbling as I'm touching them. These are definitely from the 80s. Why do I have them? My buddy Julian, who is another, you know, sneakerhead, and actually one of my college roommates, gave these to me. These were actually his dad's sneakers. So he was always into Jordans growing up. Clearly his dad was into sneakers. So all my roommates, or pretty much all my roommates, we were all into sneakers. So he gave these to me as a gift, because he's, you know, I collected random things, and he's like, and these are like the OGs, so you can hold on to these. His dad was about to toss them out anyway. So these are pretty crazy, like the original AirTech challenges. These are an original pair of Jordan 5s released in 2000. As you can see, crazy yellow. A lot of older Nikes and even Nikes today, as they get oxidized, the white and the clear, white soles and clear mesh or clear soles tend to yellow. And these are like a great example because they yellowed really bad. These are a great example of, you know, eBay finds. Back then, you know, searching for random stuff on eBay and coming up on steals was a lot easier than it is today. You could literally, you know, people not knowing what they have. This was just a random shoe. I forget what these are called. I think Air Revolutions. And these right here say they came out in 2009. You know, just again, a random shoe. I think these were even like a, you know, like an inline hockey shoe or something. That, you know, I just bought it because it's just a classic Nike shoe that I wanted to hold on to. So to get into it, oh, right here, these are another pair. I actually used to wear these. Original pair, black and red Air Jordan 4s. These came out in '99, and as you can see, I wore them, did a decent amount of damage to them, but I stopped wearing them when Rich's pair, the sole fell apart. So with Jordans, after you wear them for a long time, like they do like the talking tongue, where the sole separates from the top of the shoe. And I remember, I think we went to like the Jay-Z concert in New York, and we were walking back, and I think we were in the subway, and he was like, damn, shoe just fell apart. And literally the sole split from the original sole. So I think when I saw that, I retired these because they were the exact same shoes. The original Jordan 4s have the Nike Air in the back. The retros all typically have the Jumpman symbol, but that's how you tell these were original. You know, still in decent shape for a shoe that came out in '99, but I retired these. You know, these are just another classic that I'm gonna hold on to. Got a few other pairs here to talk about camping out. These are a pair of Nike Stash Air Force 1s. As you can see, it comes in a really cool box. These came out, man, I was in high school when these came out, because I actually remember skipping class and I went with my friend Denny to New York. We camped out at this store called Recon, and back then I think this was like one of the, you know, earlier campouts that I did that was more than just like waiting an hour or two at the mall. This was like literally skip class. We took the train up to New York and probably got there around 6 or 7 a.m. The store didn't open up till maybe noon. And this was back in 2002. And the retail on these, you know, it was pretty high, to the point in which, you know, I was just getting into buying sneakers and I probably couldn't even afford these and had to, you know, squeeze every single dollar that I had left. But I held on to these, you know, just another shoe that has a lot of meaning. Pretty much all the shoes I've ever owned and still own, I still remember where I got them from. I still remember if there's a story behind them. And that's the best part about sneakers. And I met a lot of my friends through sneakers. Growing up, I was influenced by, you know, a lot of guys older than me, a lot of my brother's friends who were, I'll say, you know, were the OGs in the sneaker game. You know, well before I got into buying sneakers, these were the guys that, you know, you looked up to, that had like the craziest collections. And, you know, a lot of them are still into sneakers and a lot of them still have, you know, their collections. Alright, so these are the Nike Stash Air Force 1s. This came out as a collection, so these were the New York edition. They came out in London, Tokyo, like they had different color boxes. Those are still really hard to get. If there's any opportunity that I could get those boxes, I would just get them just to have them. Like, I don't wear these anymore, obviously, but if I could just get them to have the boxes, that would be really dope. I think there was like royal blue, this is navy blue, there was red, maybe a green, and it came inside a second box. Already did the Supreme Dunks. So I've always been a big fan of Jordans, even growing up. You know, I still remember like Jordan 6s that I had back in the day. So Jordans, you know, definitely have an influence and still have an influence, not as much as they used to before. And you know, the resale market for sneakers, like I said, Adidas it's crazy how they're taking over the resale market right now. The value on Adidas stuff just keeps going up. And I'll actually show you a pair. These are, I think these were actually my first pair of Yeezys that I ever got. That thanks to a friend. I don't. He probably wants to remain nameless, but he works at a sneaker store up in New York. These are the Pirate Black Yeezy Boosts, still original, never worn, and you know, pair of shoes, classics that I'll be holding on to. You know, authentic Yeezys. I want to say these are probably the shoes that changed the whole sneaker market in terms of fakes and pricing. You know, like these shoes retailed for, I can't even remember, probably like 200 bucks, and you could probably get over $2,000 for these now. And it's crazy, just like the resale pricing on Nikes have just, or sneakers overall, just dramatically changed. The quality of fakes, you know, once the Yeezys came out, they just evolved it. You could technically find a pair that looks 99% just like these, and really, it's crazy. And the way that you buy sneakers now, it's a lot different than it used to be. People are using bots to get sneakers now. Like, it's literally not about waiting in line anymore, like the original camping out mentality. It's literally, I don't even know how the bots work anymore. And to this day, like, I don't buy sneakers as much as I used to, but I tend to just buy what I like. You know, a lot of it, like as soon as it comes out, like these were retro Space Jams. These are probably the fourth retro Space Jams. I actually have every single version of the Space Jam that came out. The original came out back in 2000. I thought these were it, but these are actually the black and red Jordan 1s. These are, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, these are the original black and red Jordan 1s. Used to come with the retro cards. These came out in 2001. Check it out. Like, I still wear these. The condition of these, you know, they'll probably start to fall apart soon. I should stop wearing them and wear one of the retros instead. But these are original 2001s. These Space Jams, I think they came out in 2016. These are my least favorite. I don't like how high the original patent leather is. Actually, this might be a greater example. Yeah, you can see it in this pair right here. See, like the mountain patent leather, it's a lot less. These look cooler in my opinion. And actually, when one of the retros came out, I remember wearing them to my brother's wedding for his reception. So we'll put these away. So these are the, let's see what we got here. And you know, talking about just what I buy, like what sneakers do I buy nowadays, I literally buy what I like. It's getting a lot harder to buy sneakers, so there's been releases that I wanted that I haven't been able to get, you know, for retail. These would be one of them. The black and blue, royal blue ones. Another shoe that, you know, I really wanted. I saw when it was coming out, but when they came out, I couldn't buy them, or, you know, I missed my opportunity, or I couldn't buy them for retail, so I ended up buying them off a reseller. And, you know, I ended up getting two of them because I want one to keep and one to wear. So these were, you know, shoes that sold out quick. The black and royal ones, and the black and red ones, the bread ones. And these are a shoe that when I saw the pictures of them, I was like, yo, I need those. And when they came out, they probably came out a week or two ago. They're still in stores. They're probably going to go on the clearance racks. There's like Nike, there's Jordans that, you know, in my opinion, I really, really like them, and people sleep on them. I look at the shoe and I'm like, I don't know why this shoe doesn't have hype behind them. And really, like, the resale market for sneakers, it's not how cool the sneaker looks, because I think this proves that this is like, has a suede gray with the camouflage. I love camo, so just seeing this shoe on a Jordan 1, not to mention Jordan 1s are my favorite Jordan silhouette or Jordan sneaker. And yeah, I can't believe why a shoe like this doesn't have any hype behind it, because I would have thought, you know, like if anything, this, and there was also 2 or 3 years ago a Jordan 1 that came out that looked just like the cement Supremes that had the cement all over them, or you know, it looked exactly like this in Jordan 1 form. When they came out, literally, I went to Foot Locker, bought 2 or 3 pairs of them just because I was like, yo, those are sick. My favorite sneaker on my favorite Jordan. And those shoes ended up going to like the Nike outlets, and I ended up buying a couple more pairs of them for like 40, 50 bucks. And the retail was like over 120 or 140 bucks. So it's crazy. You know, it's like really all about the hype when it comes to the value of a sneaker. And these right here, these sum up my college career. I lived in Newark for 4 years, and in Newark, probably 4 or 5 blocks away from where we lived at, like I said, all my roommates, we were into sneakers too. There was Broad Street and Market Street in Newark. There was like, back then, VIM, Jimmy Jazz, Dr. J's were like the big sneaker stores, and on top of that, there were like probably like 8 or so pop-up mom and pop shops. Back then, like literally you could go digging for sneakers. Like you could go to a mom and pop shop and find like really old sneakers. I should have brought some out with me. Like you would be able to find an original pair of Jordan 4s in the most random size, and that was really what it was about back in the day. It was all about the hunt. Like we were going to the craziest parts, like you know, we went to some crazy hoods, like literally like some crazy parts of the hood just because we heard there was a sneaker store, and we'd come up on just the most random stuff. There used to be this store in Delaware that somebody that we knew in Philly, one of the guys that worked at the store in Philly, knew that we would go down there every so often, and that we would go there looking and digging for sneakers. And he told us, he's like, yo, there's this place in Delaware. He's like, I don't know exactly where it is, but I heard that a Korean lady owns it. She's got a whole bunch of old Jordans hidden away, and if she likes you, she'll show them to you. So literally, back then there was no iPhones. It was maps. You couldn't even Google where sneaker stores were. We were in Philly, and we're like, yo, Delaware can't be too big. It's a crazy story. We drove to Delaware, literally from Philly to Delaware, just driving down 95, and he told us that he thought he knew the name of the city that it would be in. So he was right, he knew the name of the city. We found the city just off of 95, looking at the exit signs. We drove all around the city. It was crazy. And then we ended up finding the sneaker store in this random shopping complex. It had steel gated windows, steel gated door. We went in there, and the lady gave us like the most random look because there were a bunch of Asian guys, and this was deep in the hood of Delaware. I mean, back then, she was telling us random stories about, like, you know, why the doors and everything were all caged up, and how crazy it was to sell sneakers out there. But needless to say, she liked us and eventually showed us like all these dead stock Jordans that she had. And I think for like a good 3 or 4 months back then, I was maxing out all my credit cards, buying, reselling, paying off my cards, going back, buying more. Literally bought all the dead stock Jordans that she had, and a majority of them were all kid sizes. I actually held on to like 2 or 3 pairs. So, you know, that was just a crazy story back then. And these are actually something that I'm going to hold on to for a while. These are LeBron's rookie sneakers. They're called Zoom Generation First Games. I bought these Broad Street in Newark. They came out in 2003 when LeBron just started playing in the NBA. These are his rookie sneaker. The Bread ones are Jordan's rookie sneaker. So the original of those, you know, it's crazy. Those, just if you have the original pair from 1985, they go for an absurd amount of money. These came out in 2003. You know, LeBron, you know, has his full collection of sneakers. These are his first Nikes that ever came out. You know, not the best looking out of everything, but these are something that I'm just going to hold on to it. Actually shows his first game was in November 5th, 2003. So I got these on Broad Street in Newark at a mom and pop shop. You know, all the big stores didn't get them, and randomly walked into one of the mom and pops and they had them. Bought a few pairs of them. Back then, when you resold them, you made like, I don't know, 50 up to 100 bucks a pair. So I ended up still holding on to one of them. And yeah, for 4 years that I lived in Newark, you know, every week we'd either go as a group, or I'd go down to, you know, Market Broad Street by myself and literally go into every store in between classes just to see what they had. You know, back then, more than anything, you were looking for a dead stock shoes that, you know, they would find and put out. And I think these are the last that I brought out with me. These, you know, I have the original Nike Supreme collaboration shoes. Since then, Supreme did a whole bunch of other collaborations with Nike, but these are my favorite to date. The Jordan 5s, they came out in black, camo, and white. I don't have the white versions yet. These aren't even my size. I just have them because, you know, like, these are just a shoe to have, to own. If you're a Nike fan, Supreme fan, if you guys follow my Instagram, you know, I have a whole bunch of Supreme stuff. And that came hand in hand, you know, like back in the day, that was like that hypebeast lifestyle. Like, Supreme was like one of the original go-to brands for all hypebeasts. I mean, it's just a fact, it's just the truth, you know. Back then, if you were reselling Nikes, you either knew or you were reselling Supreme too. So to have, you know, this shoe, just, you know, it's just a shoe that I needed to have, I needed to own, even if it wasn't my size. So when I came up on a deal, you know, I got these at a decent price. I actually, you know what? I got the black pair on Nike.com when they released, because Supreme did a release, then Nike did a release. And actually this black pair right here, I got for retail on Nike.com when they came out. And then the camel pair I bought from a reseller. So, and actually, these didn't come out too long ago. I want to say last year. And I have to take out all this stuff, but as you can see, like, it's got a lot of the co-branding on it. But these shoes came out, I think, last year, and the value of them, if they released for like less than 200 bucks, I just saw on Flight Club that these are going for like over 700-800 bucks now. So actually, the next video I'm gonna do, I'm gonna split into two. It's how to resell sneakers, and, you know, either if you're doing it for fun or as a business, or doing it how I did it, just so you can buy one sneaker to get a pair for yourself for technically free. You know, watch that video and I'll let you know how it used to be done and how it's done now, and all the different platforms that you could use. You know, I tend to mix it up as well. So yeah, that's a wrap for my sneaker video.